first time in the museum? Oh my gosh, okay, we got the fresh newbies in the house, all right. And who's come? You are the brave ones, right? We call like I call it +1 days. What are the days that you're going to train that your competition will not? And so you are the ones that have come out, braved the cold, the weather, to be here. So thank you so much for being here. I thought what we would do today is, before we kind of get to the artifact and how that is here, is kind of recap the journey through like in a story fashion. And just to kind of give you a sense of kind of what the whole experience was like, going from an Olympic class athlete through an amputation when I was in the military to winning the Paralympic silver medal, and then some of the people that you'll see on the walls here coming out of a program I started at the United States Olympic Committee called the Paralympic Military Sport Program, which turned into Warrior Games and into Prince Harry's Invictus Games. So all that kind of encompasses and wraps in that journey. So let's just begin with it, and I'll tell you after, if I forget, there is a video of me running and jumping in the kind of the last 3 athletes that won gold, silver, and bronze at the 2000 Paralympic Games in Sydney, Australia. And I will send everyone that link so you can actually go see it online and see that leg actually in action. So I start on October the 30th, not too many days from here. I was in the San Francisco International Airport. I was sitting down. I'm wearing shorts, reading a USA Today newspaper, and because I'm sitting down, my artificial leg was prominently exposed. Now, 2 kids, about 5 years old and 7 years old, they were about 20 yards off to my left, your right, and these 2 kids, they were having a conversation with their mother, their matriarch, because they had just made a new discovery. Mommy, look at that guy's leg, look at that guy's leg, there goes Robot Man. So I laughed, I chuckled, but I went back to reading my USA Today newspaper. But then something else happened. In earshot of me, there began to be this outer speak conversation that should have remained inner speak conversation about the 2 boys, 5 and 7, who have just discovered Robot Man. Now, a non-rhetorical question, that means you can answer that. What do you think this inner speak, outer speak conversation these people were saying in the gate waiting area about the 2 kids?
It's not okay to talk about it.
Not okay, absolutely, right. What else? What do you talk about in that situation?
Don't make fun of them, don't talk about somebody's disability openly.
Right. Don't talk about somebody's disability openly. It's impolite to stare. All these things that we see all the time, hear all the time. I said, wow, well, that's interesting. But I went back to reading my USA Today newspaper. Then something happened. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the woman. She gets up with those 2 kids, and she begins walking in my direction. And I think she's going to do like the song says and take the advice of everybody, all the naysayers out there, and just walk on by. But no, she stops. She leans in. She says, excuse me, sir, my children, they're absolutely fascinated by your artificial leg. You look like you overcome so much adversity. You're such an inspiration. Would you please tell them what happened? No one has ever asked me in such a public setting what's going on with my artificial leg, especially not in front of all these naysayers that are out there. And in the space between, I'll just kind of take this down.
Yeah, too.
So I'm going to just take this. So in the space between her question and my response, I began to think about it. Why does she think I've overcome so much adversity? Maybe I was just born this way. Why does she think I was such an inspiration? I mean, I could be an axe murderer. I'm not. Yet. And then why was everybody else in the gate waiting area that had that outer speak conversation that really should remain inner speak conversation, why were they now leaning in? And in the space between her question and my response, I found my answer. I did not overcome the adversity. You see, 6.5 years earlier, on May 24th, 1994, I was lying in a hospital bed. My wife, Alice, was holding on to my left hand. My parents were on the opposite side of the bed. My son, John Jr., who's 5.5 years old, is at the foot of the bed. And the pain was unbearable. Dr. Randy Mullins walks in the room. He's got a white lab coat on, stethoscope around his neck, clipboard in his hand. He says, "Mr. Register, you've got a tough choice to make. You can either keep your leg and use a walker or a wheelchair for the rest of your life, or I can amputate your leg and you can use a prosthesis for the rest of your life." Now, what kind of choice is it? You see, 7 days earlier, I was on the Army's world-class athlete track and field team. We're in Hays, Kansas. I just got off the bus. I'm running the 400-meter hurdles. And as we alight the bus for the 400-meter hurdles, I do my little shakeout around the track. I am on top of the world. I mean, here I am. USA Track and Field News has just picked me as one of the favorites to make the 1996 Olympic team in the 400-meter hurdles. Now, the 400-meter hurdles is one lap around the track over 10 obstacles. There's a 45-meter lead into the first hurdle, 35 meters in between each subsequent hurdle, and 40 meters off that last hurdle to the finish line. Every hurdler takes a pattern of steps. I took 21 steps the first hurdle, 13 steps down the back stretch. I would switch legs, left leg then right leg, for 14 and 14 steps, and then run 15 steps all the rest of the way in. Those step patterns equaled about just under 50 seconds for one lap around the track. So USA Track and Field News said, well, if you could just do, one or two more hurdles at 13 steps, you're probably going to make that 1996 Olympic team, and that's exactly what I was destined for. But the wind was blowing hard in Hays that day, and I was having really a lot of problems with my steps. So here I was, officer candidate, about to go to the Olympic trials, and I'm sitting there in the blocks having trouble with my steps. I've just run my first sub 50-second hurdle race. So my step pattern, like I said, is 21 steps out of the blocks, right leg leads, then 13, 13. I just want to set the race. So I jump out of the blocks, and I get 21 steps, 22 steps the first hurdle. That means right leg's going over or left leg's going over 22. Second hurdle, 13 steps, 14 steps. Right leg in, right leg or left leg. And sometimes in hurdles, as in life, we just want things to stay the same. But it's not. So I do my one last proverbial pass. I jump in the blocks. I come out going as hard as I can against that Kansas wind. And I take the first hurdle, right leg is leading 21 steps. I'm on. Second hurdle, I'm approaching it again, approaching at the speed of 8.7 meters per second, which equates to what?
Fast.
Absolutely fast is the right answer. I'm going about 19 miles an hour. So the second hurdle approaches, take it with the right leg, 13 steps, I'm still on. Then I feel the Kansas wind push against me. But I push back against that Kansas wind. And as I get ready to take the third hurdle, I realize I'm a little bit short, and I'm gonna have to take the hurdle at 14 steps with my left leg leading. So off the right leg, I go across with my left leg, hit the ground to run out, and I hear, and my body sails and twists in the air, and I see my left shin pass in front of my face. My shoulders hit the ground, and I bounce to a halt. I did a quick once with my body. Okay, my shoulder's okay, my waist is okay. When I saw my knee, the patella had risen 3 inches up my femur bone. My left leg is now canted across my right, and my foot is touching the black surface of the track in Hays. The only thing I can think about at this time, just get up. Come on, John, just push yourself up. You can do it. Get your jump. Come on, you're fast. Come on, you get up. Put yourself. Oh, God! And then 90 minutes later, as my teammates are holding me, consoling me, but 90 minutes later, as they are singing songs and hymns to keep me calm, 90 minutes later, the ambulance comes. And I'm put in the back and whisked off to Hays Medical Center, where another doctor in a white lab coat comes in, takes one look at me and says, "Mr. Register, looks like you got a bit of a problem. I'm gonna have to fix that." So that doctor bears down on my crooked leg. We're going to do this on 3. 1. My leg ballooned up. I kind of passed out. I don't remember what really happened next. I don't remember the transportation from Hayes to Wichita. I don't remember when my wife actually arrived. I don't remember the 7 vein graft operations that I had. All I remember really is Alice holding on to my right hand. My mother and father over on the opposite side of the bed, John Jr. at the foot, and Dr. Mullen saying, "You got a tough choice to make." Now it was the pain that spoke first, because my male deductive reasoning said, get rid of the leg, get rid of the pain. So I looked back at Dr. Mullins and said, I know it has to be amputated. And he immediately went into work. 2 nights later, at 11 o'clock, I woke up from that surgery. I was alone in that hospital room with all things kind of buzzing and beeping around me. And I was in more pain than my male deductive reasoning had reason. And I just wanted something to knock it out. So I saw the morphine drip button, but I was too weak to roll over to press that button. Yet I could see the nurses station right outside my door, so I just called out to them. But the tubes that were down my throat made the sound too inaudible to get their attention. So there I lay in that bed for the next 8 hours with my dangerous thoughts. Who am I now? What's my identity? Is my wife going to stick around? Will my son still see me as his father? Do I still have a job in the Army? Can I support my family? I mean, my Olympic dreams are over.